glaube, ihr seid sonst die Einzigen. Wir sprechen oft in Englisch bei uns. Und dann die Irina, sie hat ein Mikrofon, sie übersetzt und ihr hört das dann. Für die von euch, die vielleicht noch ein bisschen hier nach vorne kommen wollt, jetzt gibt es eine Vorlesung. Du auch? Oder wer? Bruno. Aha. Sonst, wir können auch eine Übersetzung ins Deutsche machen, dort in der Ecke. Braucht ihr einen Stuhl? Nein, gar nicht. Aber wir haben genug Stühle. Vielleicht können wir noch 2, 3 Stühle da hinten ins Eck stellen. Bei uns geht es nicht darum, sich körperlich zu quälen. Wir kommen hier hin, um zu genießen. Mit Krishna. Genau, so wir haben dann eine Übersetzung ins Deutsche. So welcome, dear devotees. Now we're going to have a lecture and we would like to welcome His Grace Akhila Prabhu. Hari Bol. Now there is again a void here. We have to fill that void. Akhila Prabhu is well known to many of us. He comes usually once a year during this time. Akhila Prabhu, you know, now we have so many temples in ISKCON all over the world. And of course many in India, but also many in Europe, in America. But there was a time when there was no ISKCON temples, and it's not so long ago. And actually the first temple in Europe was opened in Hamburg, and Akhila Prabhu, he got introduced to Krishna consciousness by visiting this temple in 1969.
Yeah.
And that's for how long he's practicing Bhakti Yoga. And he has been doing a number of things, but mainly his service for many years was to go out and distribute Krishna consciousness with people in the world. And also he has been an integral part of the Singhachalam temple in Germany. This is the Nishingadev temple, has been opened in 1979, and he has been there from the very beginning, supporting up to this day. He lives there. He serves as a priest, as a cook, as a counselor, as a menial servant. And so we asked Akhila Prabhu to speak about the joy of devotion, because he's a wonderful example of someone who embodies the blissful nature of Bhakti Yoga, of devotional life. And that's okay, this topic, Akhila Prabhu?
Yeah. I would say you should give the class. I didn't know so many things you were telling.
Hare Krishna. Möchtest du einen Vers noch?
Ja. Ja, ein schöner Vers, der dazu passt. Ich habe mir ihn rausgesucht, aber zum Anschreiben ist es zu spät, ne?
Singst du noch Jai Radha Madhav?
Ja.
Dann kann man es noch
Okay.
Ja.
Machita Madgata Prabhu.
Wer kann den Vers? Who can write it? Yeah, you can start. Jai Radha Madhav.
Kann ich vielleicht 2 Karten? Sorry, schon da. Und eine Gita, aus der ich den Vers dann lesen könnte. Schön. My son, stepson, Gokula, I meet him after many months again. He's living here in Zurich. I live in Singhachalam. I just come here, distributing prasadam, making some income. For a week I'm here. He's living and working here. I was told to speak in English. Thank you. German for the translator. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Valabha Girivara Dari Gopijana Valabha Girivara Dari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Jaya Goranitai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Sorry, I had a cold, had a little, so my voice is a little hoarse. We're talking about a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Umagyantimirandasya gananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitang yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You read the verse, 10th chapter, with the title, The Opulence of the Absolute, text number 9. Machita Matkata Prana Machita Matkata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantas Chamang Nityang Katayantas Chamang Nityang Tushyanti cha ramanti cha Tushyanti cha ramanti cha Machita matkata prana Udayanta parasparam Katayantas shamang nityam Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Ja, bitte.
Machita matkata prana
Machita matkata prana
Bodhayanta parasparam
Bodhayanta parasparam
Katayanta shamam nityam
Katayanta shamam nityam
Tushyanti cha ramanti cha
Tushyanti cha ramanti cha
Machita matkata prana Udayantah parasparam Katayantas shamang nityam Tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Machita
Bodhayanta parasparam nityam Machita, their minds fully engaged in me. Madgata prana, their lives devoted to me. Bodhayanta, preaching, parasparam, among themselves. Kathayanta, talking, cha, also, mam, about me. Nityam, perpetually. Tushyanti, become pleased. Cha, also. Ramanti, enjoy transcendental bliss. Cha, also. The verse goes, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Purport. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from this service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and it is sown in the heart of a living entity. And if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavatam itself. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Avalam Yat Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Machita matkata prana budayanta paras param katayanta shtamang dichang tushyanticha ramanticha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Damodar Prasad Prabhu asked me to give the talk here on this Sunday. I never did this before, so please bear with me. He gave the theme, the joy of devotion, quite general, but that is why all of us are here, to experience, to enjoy this joy of devotion. Devotion. Srila Prabhupada gave the term Krishna consciousness. And the process to become conscious of Krishna is bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. More detailed, it is described, bhakti is described as loving devotional service. In the church, when there is a mass and a speech, they talk about Gottesdienst. I don't know what's it called in English. Service? To have a service in the church? Or they also talk about service, serving God. This term is there too, because God is unlimitedly great, we are unlimitedly small. And our position is to serve the great Jesus Christ, Lord Jesus Christ, as Prabhupada always said. He addresses God as Father, O Father who thou art in heaven. The Father is the natural relationship between the Father and the children, that the children love the Father. Unfortunately, we are here not really knowing our Father, not knowing much about our Father, about God. The first publication of Srila Prabhupada it was a small magazine, he called it Back to Godhead. That is our process, that is our goal, to go back to Godhead, to go back to Krishna. All of us, we are called fallen souls. This term is well known, we are all fallen souls. Why are we so fallen? We are fallen from the kingdom of God into this material world. Prabhupada said, this material body Oh no, say like this. We have fallen into this material world. The spiritual world, the kingdom of God, is unlimited. It is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. And as HG Prabhu described in the purport, Krishna, he resides there with all the living entities, and he has a unique relationship to each and every living entity. In the Gita, in the 3rd chapter, Prabhupada describes God is unlimitedly, Krishna is unlimitedly independent. And the living entities, as parts and parcels of Krishna, they are very tiny, but they also have a very small, tiny independence. And by the misuse of this independence, it is said when the relationship to Krishna of love and devotion, when it turns into something negative, when some maybe develop envy, or why is Krishna God, why is he the center for everybody, why not me? Then we come into this material world, and here we can experience trying to become the center of the world ourselves. And every one of us was, maybe still is, trying this, to become the center, become the greatest. Somehow it's there in us, or a little, somehow. Therefore, we are sent into this world. Prabhupada compares this world to a prison. There's a state. All the people are free, so-called free. And there are some people who are criminals. Some they try to get to money in an easy way, and burglar or some things, pickpocket, whatever. Heavy criminals, they go to prison. And there they get special clothes. So in case they escape, everybody can see, hey, this guy, he ran away from prison. And they report it to the police, something. So our prison suit is this material body. This body that we have, male or female, is like a prison suit. This body is made of matter. If there wasn't all the skin and muscles and intestines, we would walk around like skeletons. But wouldn't be such a great fun. I mean, when we are walking around as skeletons playing midang. might sound nice. Skeletons. No, that's the body. It's a skeleton, walking skeleton, being pulled by muscles, intestines filled with all kinds of things, and the whole thing is covered by skin, so it doesn't look as horrible as it is. So it sounds very negative, but actually this material body is our prison suit. It's not our real identity. This body, it gets old. My body is 73 already. Quite some of my friends had to leave their body already. At most, in this nowadays, the body gets 100. My mother-in-law, she got 98, was living very healthy. This body, but after some time, Prabhupada writes, the body is destined to die after a few days, after a few years, after a few decades, but it will die. But the soul is eternal. The soul is eternal. Our real self is eternal. Therefore, the soul is much more important than the body. This body we have for some time. Krishna gives the example in the Bhagavad Gita of changing clothes. When our clothes are old and worn out, getting holes, getting stained, the dirt doesn't go out and it gets torn, then we change the clothes. We get a new set. Here in the shop or somewhere, we get a new set of clothes, put the new clothes on. Similarly, the soul will leave this body when the body is old and useless, and the soul will go to a new destination. According to our consciousness, Krishna says in Gita, Yato yato nishalu, whatever our state of consciousness is at the time of death, to that state, to that place we will go. When we think of other persons, when we think maybe of our family members, then maybe next life we will take birth again in this family. Or if we live a bad life, in the Bhagavad Gita there are quite some pictures. If we live a bad life, if we eat anything and everything, then maybe next life, or act bad, maybe next life our body will not be a human body. Two days ago I heard a class by Prabhupada. He said many people, they are alone at old age. They live alone somewhere. The other members of the family have died. And they live alone, so they get a cat or dog, living with that, having somebody to give their affection to. And maybe at the end of life, when they're alone and they realize that they have to give up the body, maybe they think of this cat or dog who is the only being nearby whom they have attachment for. Maybe next life maybe in this way, next life you take the body of a cat or dog. It is possible. So we are here because we are trying to become Krishna conscious, become conscious of Krishna as far as possible, and act accordingly. Practice devotional service, trying to again develop our relationship with Krishna, being a servant of Krishna. Servant doesn't sound so great. If you think of servant in this world, maybe think of a butler somewhere. A lady is ringing the bell. James, my lady, the tea, please. Yes, immediately, my lady. And off he goes in his funny suit. That is a servant in this world. Nobody wants to be a servant. Everybody wants to be independent and do his own thing. In this world, it's not so great, servant. But it is said Krishna is the only person whom we can completely surrender to, who is the only person who is worth surrendering completely to. Krishna is, it is said, he is our dearmost friend. He is the owner of everything. He is our best friend. There's one Sanskrit term, preshta san priyasan api. Preshta means dear. Priyasan api. Krishna is the person who is the most dear of everything and of everybody to us. Krishna is the person who is most dear to us. We don't know him fully yet. Maybe we know him a little. We are here because we are interested. or because somebody invited us to come here. But Krishna is the person whom we love the most and who also loves us the most. And it's not that we are just running around in the spiritual world as slaves, but it is said every living entity has a unique relationship to Krishna. Everybody can do something for Krishna that only he can do. I heard this once, it's astonishing, impressive. Everybody of us can do something for Krishna that only he can do for Krishna. Nobody else can do this. So Krishna is waiting for us. He's waiting for us to come back and do our service to him. And Krishna, we can have so many different relationships to Krishna. The boys, when they come into the temple, they hear about Krishna and his pastimes. How is Krishna's main activity is to take care of the cows. He loves to take care of cows. It's special, but if you watch the cows, they are very dear animals. They are very nice animals. They have loving relationships amongst each other. And every one of us has grown up with the milk of cows. And therefore, in India, the cow is revered. The cow, Gujarat, Sky Mata. Cow is called mother cow because the cow gives the milk. She's like a mother. Takes care that all the small children can grow up and also the grown-ups can get milk. Cows are special, very special. I saw photos, Facebook or so. There was a cow and a small pig. In India, the pigs are running around free. A small pig was drinking on the udder of the cow. A small monkey was there drinking milk. A small child was there drinking directly on the cow. The cow is like a mother for everybody else. So Krishna, he enjoys playing together with his small friends in the forest, in the pastures, taking care of the calves, of the cows, and they're having their pastimes there. In the Krishna book is described how they, like small boys, they have their play, and they're also those are the cowherd boys, and they are also the girls who take care of the cows, and mainly who prepare the milk for different preparations, make different preparations out of the milk. And everybody loves Krishna. For everybody, Krishna is the most beloved person. And this spiritual world is unlimited. It's difficult for our mind to grasp. This material world, which is full also of seemingly unlimited people. It is said on other planets there is also life, not just on the earth. Alone on this earth, how many people live here? 3 billion? Something like this. I'm not completely informed. But, 8 billion. 8 billion. It's not just us and nature and everybody. Millions of bacteria are living. Small worms, small bacteria. So many animals, so many ants are living outside. This material world is filled up with living entities, but it is limited. It's just a part, just like the prison. We are here changing the bodies, living in our bodies, making our experience in all different kinds of bodies. But in the spiritual world, there are really unlimited living entities. But everybody has his relationship to Krishna. For everybody, Krishna is the most dear person. And everybody constantly has the association of Krishna. Difficult to imagine, difficult to understand. Our mind is limited. It is said to grasp with the material mind. The spiritual world is like trying to grasp with the hand the wind. The wind is unlimited, unlimitedly strong. We cannot catch the wind with our hands. The spiritual world is also unlimited, difficult for us to understand. But we should know that for each and every one of us, Krishna is the most dear person. He is the supreme person. From him the whole creation emanated. So, and he's just not just a god. Friedrich Nietzsche, a famous German philosopher, he gave this. He created this statement: God is dead. He rejected this concept of God, but he said, "I could accept a God who is singing and dancing," and that is what Krishna is doing. Krishna is singing and dancing. In the spiritual world, there are no troubles. Here in this world, there are troubles from the body, from the mind, from other living entities, maybe from the weather. Now it's getting cold again. Can get sick easily. Have no money. There are problems in this material world. But in the spiritual world, there are no problems. It's called Vaikuntha. No fear. There is no fear, there are no problems. It's just us and Krishna. And we have a relationship which we cannot imagine now. Here we also have loving relationships, but sometimes they are disturbed. Sometimes a family is together, then family splits up. Somebody goes here, somebody goes there, somebody goes joining a sect. It's described to some straws floating on a river. Sometimes the straws are put together on the water, on the surface. Sometimes the straws are driven apart by the streaming of the water. Similarly, also, we have our relationships, but sometimes they're broken, and sometimes they don't work, and sometimes it's not like we hoped, and all these things. In this world, there's not pure pleasure, always. But with Krishna, we can have a relationship of pure pleasure, of unlimited joy of devotion. And we experience this joy by devotion, by turning to Krishna, by trying to understand our relationship to Him, trying to understand who we are, who Krishna is, what our relationship is, how we can again revive this relationship. And if we get a little taste of this relationship, of the nature of Krishna, then we understand that actually there is nothing else in life to do but this. In the introduction to the Gita, I was staying at my parents' house and I had the Gita with me. I was sitting outside in the veranda and I was reading in the Gita, and there was this sentence: without Krishna consciousness, this life is spoiled. Ohne Krishna-Bewusstsein ist das Leben verdorben, steht da. Without Krishna consciousness, this life is spoiled. We have this body, and if we don't try to understand who we are, what is the meaning of life, why are we here, how can we get out of this problematic situation, if we don't try to understand, then our life is not really used as it should be. As human beings, we are more intelligent than animals. But if we don't use this intelligence for its actual purpose, to ask us, what is the meaning of life? Why do we live? Who are we? And so on. If we don't ask these questions, then we do just the same things that animals are doing. Aha, nidra, bhaya, maitun. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's what's common for animals and for human beings. The animal sleeps. We sleep in a bed, but sometimes we're even afraid to fall out of the bed. Seems more comfortable, but same thing. Eating, animals eat, we eat. They don't have to go to a restaurant. Quite naturally, we have sex, the animals do. We defend, the animals defend. We have weapons. Sometimes, mostly, we misuse them to attack others. The animals have their weapons to attack others. Claws and pointed teeth to eat other animals. Or they have their swift legs to run away. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. If we don't care for anything else, we are wasting our life. We are spoiling our life. We are wasting our life away. We have the chance, and actually we have the duty to become conscious, to become Krishna conscious. That is the real meaning of our life as a human being. It's not just a duty, but actually, here some of our guests, for the first time, it reminded me when I came to the temple the first time, a school friend, took me to Hamburg. We were 19 years. I had the car of my parents. Oops. Soon comes the next joy. Prasadam. Speed up. We went to a temple and somewhere, Bartelstraße, I don't remember the number. It was just in somewhere in the backyard, is the door, and we walked up 1 or 2 stairs, and when you opened the door, there was a devotee sitting at the entrance, welcoming the guests. It was a small place, and Chakravarti Prabhu, he took care of the guests. He came, the husband of Dina Sharna Mataji, who is the regional secretary, regional manager, who is in charge of taking care of German, Switzerland, Austria. Her husband, he was there, and he welcomed us, and he tried to tell us something about philosophy. I remember he said, just look around, all these materials, the stones, the wood, the glass is made of sand. All these materials, we did not make it. We just took it from somewhere and put it together, made a house out of it. But we just took it somewhere, it's not ours. And he gave the example, we are also similarly the body. It's made from materials. It is given to us by our parents. We did not buy it. We don't really understand it. We don't know how it works. How it works. All the all the processes in the body. We don't understand it. We are just in it. It happens to us. We are just in it. We know how to walk normally. Small children, they learn how to walk. But it's not us. It is ours. We think it's ours. After some time it will fall apart. And sometimes if somebody dies, go to the graveyard and the priest saying this body is taken from dust and to dust it will turn again. So this body, that's not us. We are inside the body. And he gave the comparison. We're like a small particle of gold, a small piece of gold. Krishna, God, is like the huge gold mine, unlimited supply. We are a small particle, but we are of the same quality as God, of the same quality as Krishna. That I remember after all these years. And then there was a kirtan, but there was a temple. I just saw the altar, something colorful. I didn't recognize what it was. Wasn't so as beautiful as here. Look at the background. It's so nicely made. The deities are so nicely dressed. On the right side is Jagannath, Krishna in a very special form. Out of ecstasy, he took on this special shape with very short arms and huge eyes when he was completely in ecstasy. And Krishna's next expansion, his brother, Balaram, who is just like Krishna, but he is very white in complexion. In the middle is the little sister, Subhadra. The beautiful backdrop, the whole ornate carvings, very beautiful. In Hamburg it was very simple. But the devotees were making kirtan, they were dancing. And suddenly one devotee jumped up and he screamed something. He must have shouted, Haribol! I did not, but I was impressed. He was standing in the back of the temple and he watched the whole show. The whole thing happened. And I was so impressed, and I had the feeling that I should stay there. But I didn't. My mind came, no, you have to bring back the car to your parents. You cannot stay here. But I liked it very much. Took some years till I moved into the temple. But I took a small magazine, Zurück zur Gottheit, was reading it, trying to understand. Also in the Bible, on the first page, it said, Gott erschuf den Menschen nach seinem Ebenbild. Zum Ebenbilde Gottes schuf ihn. God created man after his own image. He made man after his own image. He made the man. We don't look like Jagannath, but Krishna in his original form, he looks like a small, like a young, most beautiful boy. And if we are like the image of God, das Ebenbild, das Abbild Gottes, if we are like the image of God, so logically, God is if we are like the reflection, the image of God, like the image in a mirror, we can understand, we can conclude that God if we look like God, means God looks like us. Michelangelo, he made this painting somewhere on the ceiling. God creates Adam. Adam, he lifts up his finger, and God, from up, he touches his finger and gives life to Adam. Okay, yes, nice concept, right concept. But God is painted like an old man. God is the oldest person. He is the first person. So he thought, well, must be quite old. If he is the first living entity, if he is the first, so he must be old. So he looks like an old hippie, long white hair, face full of wrinkles, white clothes, something like, looks like the oldest person. But actually, Krishna, he's not limited like this. Krishna is the oldest. He is the original, the first person. But his body doesn't get old. Also in the spiritual world, our bodies are also not old. They are Krishna's parents also. They are older than Krishna. How to understand the parents of Krishna? But some devotees of Krishna, they have the desire to take care of Krishna like taking care of a child. And Krishna gives them the position of their parents to have a loving relationship in this way. When the boys come into the temple, oh yes, we want to become cowherd boys and play with Krishna. And the girls, I guess they are thinking, oh, we want to become cowherd girls, gopis. Like this, somehow. In the spiritual world, we can do everything we want for Krishna. We can have any relationship we desire with Krishna. And Krishna fulfills all our desires. And all our desires are fulfilled. In this world, not even at Christmas, all our desires are fulfilled. But in the spiritual world and the association of Krishna, all our desires are fulfilled. And we will experience real joy. So, 2 minutes. Is there a question? So, Srila Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Akhila Prabhu ki jai. Thank you, Akhila Prabhu. We're soon going to serve prasadam outside. And welcome also to those who are here for the first time. Jai. His name is Jai. Jai is a special word in almost after Krishna and Hare and a few other words, the most used word in our temple. Jai. Yes, we want to make a few announcements. We have a book table outside. You've also seen that there is books on the altar. We have a book distribution marathon, the Christmas marathon, which Srila Prabhupada is very fond of. And if you like to take some books for yourself, for your friends, family, or maybe you just want to distribute some books to some neighbor, then outside at the table, Bhaktin Anna, she can help you. And they have some special offers. You can get some discount package. And please go and see her if you like to have some books. Then next week we have a special event on Wednesday. It's the advent of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Gita Jayanti. Gita Jayanti is the day when Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra around 5,000 years ago. And on this day, usually also devotees, they like to distribute Bhagavad Gita to others, to friends, relatives, because we value this book so much, and on this day it's very auspicious to give it to other people. So also as an inspiration, if you like to take some Bhagavad Gitas with you. 6:15 there will be a japa meditation. You can learn how to chant on prayer beats, and 7 o'clock there will be the Gora Arati, and then we have continuous kirtan till 9:30. Yes. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Har ni irgendetwas vergessen? Nein. Thank you. Please, you are invited now to go outside, and in the entrance hall they will be serving you prasadam, sanctified food. Oh. Hare Krishna. Jai. We don't mean you. Oh, darn. Den kleinen Notfall draußen, darum war ich gar nicht so.
Danke vielmals, fantastisch, mega. Nein, wirklich. Nein, das war sehr spannend. Nein, ich weiß nicht, nein, wirklich, das war ganz schön, das war ganz hässlich. Nein, das war ja, das kommt ja kommen gerade. Das erste Mal im Tempel, mein erstes Mal im Tempel, ja, das ist jetzt was so treffend, dass ich Erfahrung mitgeteilt habe. Ja, das sind ja, ja, und deshalb war diese Geschichte aus dem Paramatma heraus absolut treffend, oder? Also ganz herzlichen Dank. Also hat mir sehr, sehr gut gefallen. Ja,